All right, boys and girls, welcome back to another video. So at this point, I'm already out of town. I'm pre-recording this to give you guys a quick overview of my honest and brutal opinion of SM Baek. Okay, so I want to do this because I think a lot of people are on the fence about getting him. A lot of people have had a lot of judgment on this character without proper testing. But also at the same time have some valid concerns, and I want to go over all of this and give you guys my honest opinion from a character perspective and as a support perspective. I think those are two very, very vital things to look at. So I'm going to do a full breakdown for you guys, and then at the end I'm going to give you my suggestion of whether you should pull or not. Okay, we're going to do some comparisons with some of the data I've collected, obviously, for the last, I'd say 7 hours of testing. That's right, 7 hours of freaking testing, guys. They have fixed him, so that is important to note. So he is now much, much, much better. But there's a caveat for the fix. You must have his SSR weapon to notice the difference. Now, I'm going to go from a free-to-play perspective, and I'm going to go from a pay-to-win perspective. They're very different things. And I think that's very important to note, okay? So let's start off with the character. So first off, you guys are aware he is a dark unit, and there are some fairly powerful dark units in the game already. You already have Lim, you already have Libora, and you have Kang. Very, very powerful units. All of them play a very specific role. Kang, being a bleed unit, is the closest thing you're going to get to him. Now, if we look at the data I've provided you guys previously with testing Kang as well in comparison to Baek. Baek here at 80k power, Kang here at 48k power, 4 bars left, 28 bars left. Kang at A3 though also had he actually beat out Libora and Lim and Emma in damage on that bear fight. Okay, so you guys are aware the only people that beat him out are actually Silvermane and Choi. So first off, for free-to-play players, you have that option. Okay, just throwing that out there. That option is available to you. If you have Kang, you should be using him for big fights. Now, keeping in mind, please, please, please remember this. Yes, bleed is a big factor here. Okay, bleed for Kang, for example, his bleed does do 0.6% of current HP for the mob, while Baek's does 1%, and that's a pretty substantial difference if you look at the end game, right? So right there, you guys can see here 1%. So there is a 0.4% increase in the bleed that Baek does versus what Kang does. Okay, these two characters are meant to be used for longer and bigger boss fights. They will clear out mobs quickly, but they're not the best at doing so. Both of them are very, very powerful at killing bosses with a lot of HP. Keep that in mind. That's the main thing to note, okay? So this is the best comparison I can make for you. SR version, SSR version. Both dark units, so you have a very, very powerful option in Kang, and you guys have known I've bragged about this character from day one. I've done testing with him. I've shown you guys testing with actual facts and data, not just these numbers, but I've given you guys a video where he and Ana Ruiz killed off a tier 5 golem by themselves. Okay, 2 SR characters taking care of business. And I only had an A2 version at the time. So this is not even a pay-to-win version of him. This is technically, a free-to-play version of him. So keep that in mind, all right? So that's first thing I want to note. Number 2, now that he has his weapon fixed, it's almost a necessity to have that weapon, okay? So the new event that's going on with the roles, if you're just playing the game, you'll eventually get this. So even at A0, this weapon is still very powerful, okay? So if I go view details, right, of the weapon, sorry, let me go back here. Let me actually go to, I think there's a better way to do this. Let me go to the achievement section. Oh no, codex. Sorry, I'm gonna go to the codex, and we can see it at level 1. Okay, it's just easier that way. So let's go weapons, and you guys can see it's right over here. If you ever want to see like the tier 1 version of the weapon, here it is. So 8% increase to basic attack. Now remember, majority of his damage comes from basic attack and bleed. So it's very important basic attack is used. When the user's basic attack hits, it takes damage to equal 0.5% of current HP. So it works off very similar to like a bleed, right? Except but deals damage equal to 0.2 of current HP. But this is your current HP, by the way. So this is why it is somewhat logical to build him a little bit more HP based, but you still want attack and crit to be your main weapons because he scales off of those, right? So with this weapon, HP becomes a little bit more essential, having it as a substat more importantly, but it's still important to remember that, okay? If you go to A1, sorry, let me go back here. If you go to A1 or to A5, I guess in this case, it goes up to 30%. So it's huge. It's a massive, massive increase. Okay, these numbers don't change. I mean, this number does change a little bit, but not enough to make a difference. 0.5 versus 0.2, but that basic attack increase is huge. So that should tell you what set works best for him. Now, everyone's been asking me what set works best for him. Have you tested all the other sets? Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, tested all the sets. The best set for me personally at the moment still works out to be the Dragon set. Just because of what you guys have seen from his skills, his basic attacks, his core attacks, there is bread and butter. And then it's a no-brainer here to put the skeleton one on, obviously, because the HP loss that he has instantly puts this into effect almost right away, giving you 30% damage increase right from the get-go. Okay, so these two are the best combinations of sets I've been able to get. Not to mention, these sets have come out with bangbuster stats for me. So I've had, like, look at this, 46% crit, 169% crit damage, 9.76k overall, 80% precision. So I mean, it's been the best set. Okay, so that's something else, and I'll put that on a new artifact tier list anyways. Okay, so let's talk about his skills. Now, very important to note a couple things. Okay, Whales versus free to play. So free to play, I've given you the option of Kang. Kang is a very, very good choice. But if you decide you want to go with, you still want to summon him because you like the character and you want to use him, let's talk a little bit about how far you should go with in terms of duping, okay, for free-to-play players. So the user's skill damage increase is equal to 50% of the user's reduced HP ratio. HP ratio essentially is how much you've lost from his max HP to the current HP that he has. So you can get up to 50% of that damage done for all of his skills, okay? When slaughter or violent approach slaughter is his core attack, by the way, and this is why the dragon set works really well. You want to use this as much as possible versus violent approach, which is very mana intensive, by the way, guys. So this is what the difference between the two, right? Whenever either of these are used, okay? Let me go back to the skills. You apply a bleed, okay? And then this also increases Magic Beast, Claw, and Slaughter by 20%. So the bleed, you guys know, is important. So is he useful A0? Absolutely. Absolutely. And for those people who tell you otherwise, listen to me. I'm going to make this clear for you guys. He is a boss killer. He's not a AoE mob remover. He's not good at clearing mobs. It's not his job. His job is literally to come in, slaughter bosses. That's what he's there for. Any boss with a lot of HP, especially pool, he's going to be amazing. But you need to remember one thing. You have to be skilled at dodging. He has a lot of HP loss. One bad hit, he's gone. He's out of the fight. Useless, right? So if you're bad at dodging, you're going to have a hard time using this character. You're going to have a hard time justifying getting this character as well. So keep that in mind. Now, do you need a 1? When the user uses Extreme Beast form, which is this skill right here, okay, which already gives you super armor, also increasing your damage and attack speed, which is crazy. It deals continuous damage equal to 4% of your current HP. Keep that in mind, though. This is what does take away your HP. Adding to the attack speed, sorry guys, keep going back and forth here. Adding to the attack speed and the super armor and the increased damage of 15%, now you're adding an extra layer of damage. You're giving yourself crit hit rate and crit hit damage by 3% every 1 second. So that's 30% crit hit rate, and that's 30% more crit damage, right? And what you want to do here is you want to let this go for like 9 seconds and then activate your skills to do the most amount of possible damage that you possibly can, okay? So very important. Yes, A1 is immense. It's huge. Now, do you need to go any further? Quite honestly, no. Okay, and I'll be honest, the increase to basic attack and core attacks by 40% is obviously great. It's great, not a necessity by any means. Uses basic attack damage by 40% is obviously great. Again, not a necessity because most of your damage is going to come from your bleeds and from your core attacks and from your crit rate and your ult, right? The user skill damage increase is proportional to 80% of the user's reduced HP. Of course, these are all nice things, but for free to play, the maximum you really want to go to is right here. That's where you stop, A1. A0, he's great for bosses anyways because the bleed is great. You can do all these extra things, but you don't need to push any further than that, okay? Very important to remember that. So that right there. Now, let's talk about for Sun Jin-woo. Do you want to use him on the team? This is a huge, huge, huge increase, guys. Okay? Huge increase. The biggest increase you're going to have. People don't understand how well this is, how good this is. I will tell you now how good this is because I've been able to test it. I'll show you guys on a test later on sometime when I'm back from vacation. He does a roar, first off, which does 1,000 damage, which is nothing to scoff at. It's 25-second cooldown. But the more important thing here is he increases Sun Jin-woo's attack by 20%. 20%. That's bonkers. It's a lot. Right? That's a lot. He does also increase damage taken though by 10%. So keep that in mind. There's a little bit of a crux there. Now it is a 15-second cooldown, so there's a 10-second uptime for this, or downtime for this, sorry. So remember that. But this is probably the single-handedly strongest support skill in the game for a buff, period. There's nothing stronger than this buff-wise. Now Choi obviously has the defense down skill, right here. You guys can see it's 15%. I think she has charm, right, which also increases damage to the opponent for 15%, but nobody here has a skill this strong for a buff for attack. So he is easily, my opinion, the best buff in the game for Sun Jinwoo, hands down. Don't need any bonus dupes or anything like that. So that right there is alone is worth at least having a copy, in my opinion. So now let's talk about, is he worth it? So after everything I've told you guys now, from a free-to-play perspective to a pay-to-win perspective, pay-to-wins, second best DPS in the game next to Choi, easily. Free-to-play, second best DPS next to Choi, easily. Do you need him as free-to-play? No. You can skip him. He's going to be rerun again in the future anyways if they decide to buff him or make him any better. You can get him in the future. Do you have alternatives? Absolutely. Kang is a great alternative. Is he as good? No. Is he strong? Yes. So you can still use Kang if you have him as a good alternative to Silver Main Baek. Is he a necessity pull for free to play? Absolutely not. Okay. For pay to win, I think he's going to be your best DPS for Dark for a very long time. Quite honestly, you do need to build him deep though in order to get his full potential. Okay. For free to play, A1 is perfect. For pay to win, if you want to compete with other pay to win players, you're going to want to go to at least A4 to A5, and that's the honest truth from my testing. Okay. And how do I know this from testing? Well, it's simple. We did a quick test here at A3 where he had 18 bars remaining, and then we did A5 testing. Now we know he's got 10 bars remaining. So that's 8 bars of health gone from the opponent versus from A3 to A5, right? So if you look at the damage increase, we can just go half and half. So that's a 4 bar increase per A1. So A4, 4 bar increase, A5, 4 bar increase. And then now with the weapon working, another 6 bar increase there. So yeah, absolutely worth going to A5 for any whales. Be responsible when you spend. It's a unit. You'll get better ones in the future. It's not the end of the world. Don't start spending your hard-earned money on a game if you're hesitant on it. It's never worth it. Okay, just want to point that out. All right, guys. So that is my final conclusion. Free to play, absolutely skippable. You can definitely use Kang. If you want to go for him, A1 max for free to play. Don't go any further than that. A0, he's still absolutely viable. You guys know what the best set is now for him. Toughness works extremely well. Armed works extremely well. In my opinion, this is still the best set. Skeleton is the best outfit. You can also use Behemoth, or you can use, if you have really high crit, you can use Beast. Not recommending. I would say this is the best set going forward. And also, again, his skill for Sun Jinwoo, probably the best buff in the game, and his weapon is mandatory from the event, so absolutely get it. So there you guys go. That's my suggestions. This is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.